Hey Peter, this video actually is going to be of the warm up and cool down that we did here. This will actually be your first video, but it's the third video I shot because it was an afterthought. Anyway, I just want to go over what you did, kind of just my general recommendations, just to kind of get you going. Then again, you'll have I'll send you an email just with the workouts the way I have them laid out. Again, you do what feels best for you. I have, as I mentioned in the other video, and you'll see on the template, I have you doing a bilateral leg exercise and a unilateral leg exercise, which is more than we did here. However, we often had you do like sled pushes or pulls or a farmer's carry while you were here. So you kind of did 2 leg exercises, but a little bit different. So feel free, if you find that it's just too much, either knee, back, or just in general, it's maybe prohibiting you from playing tennis or riding or whatnot, then feel free to just choose 1 leg exercise. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to have some kind of leg exercise, some kind of upper body push, and some kind of upper body pull. Everything else is just kind of accessory to hit all major muscle groups. Maybe add a little single joint core exercise in there. However, again, your program, the way I have it laid out, and I like it to do a lot of stuff this way, is a bilateral leg exercise as opposed to unilateral. Again, with a unilateral leg exercise, single leg exercise, feel free to do 2 sets as opposed to 3. But hey, let's dive into your warm-up. And so what we've had you do as far as your warm-up is concerned while you've been here is, we start off with your full rolling. And again, we've been having my favorite way to do this is start with the glutes. And I kind of like to work my way around. So I'll go glutes, right? Or sometimes, glutes, I'll just kind of cruise you through outside of the hip, right? Then thighs. And then if we roll in the opposite direction, right, we can go outside of thigh and hip. We come back around and we hit that glute right on that other side. I'm just kind of cruising you through. Then your back and your lats, right? You kind of rotate to the side a little bit, rotate to the side a little bit, right? But that's what we've been having you start off with there. Then we've been doing your I believe we've been having you go right to your stretches. So we're going to go, if you recall, you're going to go hamstring, right? If you want, you can straighten the leg. But again, with the bent knee, right, it'll allow you to have a little more mobility in there. You can also bend that knee a little bit, and obviously you can tell it here, and you can get a little further into the belly of the hamstring. But again, I'd start off here pretty casual. And if you want to take it further, you can kind of do some of this stuff and play with that position a little bit. Then we've gone to the outside, right, with that bent knee, counterbalancing, then coming up, and then going over to that other side, right? Again, hand, counterbalancing, and then we added this guy in, where we grabbed the end of the strap, we looped it around, and then we came into that quad stretch. Again, the big thing here is just putting a little tuck in your tailbone as you pull that leg out. So just real quick on that other side, just going through, right? Hamstring, again, a little further if you want. You can bend that knee over the belly of the hamstring. Again, rebend, we go to the outside, right? Straighten the leg, switch the hand, on the inside. And then again, we'll go give yourself plenty of slack right into the edge of that band, and then we'll do that quad stretch. Then Peter, from there, we had you do your rib grab. Now we put a couple of pads underneath you, but it's just this guy. Remember, we're going to grab the outside of the knee, the rib cage, and just gently pry open. Keep a little tuck in the tailbone. Hold for a couple of breaths. Right, same thing on that other side. A little tuck in the tailbone. Hold for a couple of breaths. And then we come back to center, maybe even Tuck everything in, breathe a little bit into that low back. Then let's do that back pressure crunch. Repeat this is, again, head on some kind of pillow or pad. This is where we're going to think, like you're trying to cram your rib cage into your hips. Right? We're going to, like you're bracing for a punch. Just hold for the duration of the exhale. Nice and tight. Inhale, just let it go. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, let it go. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, let it go. And really just like 5 up to 8 of these guys here. It's really more about quality. Can you get that core to engage? Then we'll do the same thing with that hip bridge, right? This is driving through the heels, little tuck in the tailbone, drive up, squeeze. Really just trying to get these guys nice and tight. Core between the cheeks. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, squeeze. Again, same idea here, Peter. It's more quality than quantity. You know, like really, maybe I like to do a little bit more higher repetition here, but like 8 to 10 max. And you really don't need to go any more than that. We're just trying to get those muscles online. Peter, then we're going to have you, we're going to come on up. Let me check your notes real quick, because there's a few things we're going to do differently in your warm-up here or at home than we did here in the gym. Oh, okay, so you're going to do, then we're going to do your TRX squat to row. All right, this is just this guy. And I call this a 4-part movement, meaning you're going to extend out, drop down, come up and back, and then in. Out, down, up and back, and then in. And again, you can kind of move at whatever pace feels right for you. We're just trying to warm you up, get your body moving a little bit. Yeah. Like 10 to 15, and then maybe hold the last. Sink into it just as deep as feels right for you, Peter. Just sink into a deep squat. Then we're going to flip you around, Peter. You want to make sure you got enough slack on the line here, though, because you're going to do this guy. It's like we do the tricep extension, but this one you're going to put a little tuck in the tailbone. Call it a Superman. Tricep setup though is the same. You know, if it feels okay on your shoulder. Right, and you're just going to extend on out just as far as feels right for you, and then come back. Small movement. We're just kind of opening up the shoulders a little bit. Extend on out, and then back. Extend on out, and then back. So again, small movement, but it's kind of similar to what we would have you do against the wall with the roller, where you're rolling the roller up and down the wall. We're just trying to encourage this overhead range of motion. In lieu of that, Peter, you can always do a light dumbbell pullover, kind of same idea. But hey, so that's your warm-up, and then we'll proceed into your workout. Now, if you notice on the template I say your cool down, we'll just repeat those stretches. So like your band stretches, you know, it's a great way to cool down. Prior to doing that though, the 2 exercises or 2 stretches I should say that we had you do here that I really like for you is we had you do that doorway pec stretch, right? And so you can do this again in your door frame. You want your wrist just a little above your shoulders, your elbows just a little below your shoulders, little tuck in the tailbone, shoulders drop back and down. You're going to kind of lean through the door frame. What you don't want to do is arch in the back, right? A little tuck in the pelvis. Find a little bit of a stretch across the muscles of the chest, and then focus on your breath. Nice big breath. You want to sense that rib cage expand upon inhalation. The other thing we had you do, Peter, was those hangs. We're just kind of hanging from the rings. Again, feet in contact with the ground, little tuck in the tailbone, right? What you don't want is put stress on your low back, so keeping that little tuck on the tailbone is helpful. Now, because you don't have rings, you might have a bar or something, even like you can even do this like I think, just trying to think about the basement of your, at the house. I don't know if one of the risers of the stairs hangs over the edge, but sometimes doing that, you can kind of hang. As long as you can make contact with the floor, right, you can kind of hang from that space. space. Or a door frame, you can kind of hang from a door frame, that's another good one. And just kind of opening up, stretching out the lats a little bit. The other thing you can do is, back on that TRX, and we may have done this before, you gotta be a little cautious, but you can, when you sink into that squat, kind of like what we do in the beginning when you're sinking in that squat, you kind of do the same thing. You can lean back and just stretch out those lats a little bit here, send the hips back, so less of a squat, more hips up and back, and you get that same lat stretch. Just be a little careful, cautious with your shoulder, especially I think on your, if I'm not mistaken, your right shoulder is the one, I forget exactly the one that, I think we, doing pull-ups, we put some stress and strain on. But so going too much into extension under load can stress that joint capsule. Hey Peter, I hope this is helpful. Again, please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. So now you got warm-up, cool-down, day 1 and day 2 programs. Trying to think if there's anything else. Please don't hesitate, reach out if I can be of any help in any way. And again, feel free to modify this stuff. You're gonna work out, which is great. These are just suggestions. All right, Peter, I hope you're doing well, and I'll speak with you soon. Aloha.